All right. Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting Andrea Speaks TV. So, I'm back with more news and commentary you can use. Y'all, listen, make sure that you like this video, share this video. And if you have not already, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. Listen, I hope that you're doing well and your family is doing well. Listen, y'all, right here on the channel, we've talked about food shortages. Y'all help me out. Water shortages, the supply chain crisis, so many different topics, right? All of them are relevant to the current times that we're living in. Well, I wanted to give you all an update on water shortages. You all know if you search right here on the channel, I have over 300 videos now. I've been working, y'all, and I appreciate your support. But I have several videos, and I even have a playlist where I've talked about water shortages. Be sure to check out that playlist if you haven't already. But in the past, I have specifically talked about water shortages in the California area. And so, what I would like to do this morning is give you an update. And you may say, okay, Andrea, I don't live in California. But remember, anytime I report on news, if it's happening somewhere else, whether it's in another state that you don't live in or even overseas, what I want you to think about is okay, if that's happening there, who's to say that it wouldn't happen in my area, your local area? Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And this particular article that I'm sharing comes from the Washington Post. Okay, you can see the title of the article on the screen. You can even research it in your spare time if you would like. And look at this, y'all. Okay, the article is saying, the title of the article says, a California city's water supply is expected to run out in 2 months. Okay, now this article was just published this morning, so this is fairly new information that I'm receiving. Okay. Now, the caption of the article says, amid a historic drought and record shortages, Coalinga, Coalinga, that's the name of the city in California, says Coalinga searches for extra water to make it through the year. Okay, now you all also know that right here on the channel, I always talk about the need for you to add. Of course, we use water in everyday life, right? Every day we need water. We use water every day. But it's also important to add water to our emergency food supply. Okay, so let me just speak briefly about what is happening in this particular California city. Okay, again, this information does come from the Washington Post. All right, listen, y'all. According to the Washington Post, the article says the residents of this sun-scorched city feel California's endless drought when the dust lifts off the brown hills and flings grit into their living rooms. They see it when they drive past almond trees being ripped from the ground for lack of water, and the new blinking sign at the corner of Elm and Cherry warning, no watering front yard lawns. Okay, y'all. So, pretty much and I've spoken about this on the channel as well, but the state of California, the government officials put restrictions in place to limit water usage, and what they said was an effort to, I guess, conserve their existing water supply. Listen to this, y'all. Okay, now, um, the fire chief. Okay, so the article talks about different, I guess, maybe the perspective of different individuals. It says the fire chief noticed it when he tested hydrants in August. Okay, a rare occurrence is Coalinga desperately seeks to conserve water. And the first one shot out of a foot-long block of compacted dirt. The second one ejected a can of Axe body spray. Okay, the school superintendent, all right, could only think drought on the first day of school when a 4-year-old fell onto unwatered turf, breaking an arm, the article says, or when the chainsaws dropped 3 coastal redwoods outside Henry F. Bishop Elementary that had withered and died. Okay, the superintendent, Lori Villanueva, even lost a portion of her own right lung last year from a drought aggravated illness called valley fever. Have you all ever heard of such a thing? That's caused by breathing soil fungus whipped up off the dry ground. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay. But here's what the article says: what lies ahead might be far worse for the 17,000 residents living amid the oil derricks and cattle farms on the western edge of the state's Central Valley. Okay, Coalinga or Coalinga has only one water source. Okay. Now here's what I want you all to think about. Think about your own think about your own local area. Okay. Do you know how many water sources that you have in your local area? Here's where I want you and I, what you and I, here's where I want you and I to think about what's happening in your local area. It may even take you going to your uh, city manager office, government office to find out this information. Okay. Try to find out what's happening in your local area. Situations such as this water supply, it doesn't always have to affect us on a national level. Look at what happened in Jackson, Mississippi with their water supply. So I would encourage you, just like I'm going to do, find out what's happening even with the water supply in your local area. Okay. Now, it may be that it's, so much out of our control, but at least we can know, hey, this is what's going on. Okay. All right. Now, the article also goes on to say, okay, and I'm just going to change the layout so at different times you'll be able to see me. The article says this, y'all, listen. Coalinga has only one source of water, okay, a shrinking allotment from an aqueduct managed by the federal government. And officials are projecting, listen to this, y'all. Officials are projecting the city will use up that amount before the end of the year. Now, y'all, right now it's October 10th. The last day of the year is December 31st. That's not too far away, is it? So they're saying that in this particular city, okay, Coalinga, that the water supply, based on everything that's going on, the water supply is projected to run out by the end of this year. Okay. Now, the article also goes on to say that the looming threat has left city officials racing before meetings in Sacramento and phone calls to the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. I've talked about them on the channel, seeking to increase their water supply. Okay. Some residents, here's what residents have been doing. Check this out, y'all. Some residents, the article says, have begun stockpiling 5-gallon water jugs in their homes, while many expect major spikes in their water bills. Okay, if Coalinga can't find relief, it will be forced to buy additional water on the open market at exorbitant prices. I guess that means, very high prices, outlandish prices that could swamp the city's budget. Okay, that was the grim scenario facing Mayor Ron Ramsey when he rapped his knuckles on the table and cursed at a city council meeting in early August. Okay, so it seems like people have been fighting, trying to say, hey, we need to do something about this for quite some time. Okay, everyone but Ramsey, the article says, had just voted to ban watering front yards and to ramp up penalties on overuse. Measures they conceded would not save nearly what was needed, but it was more than Ramsey could stomach. Okay, here's a quote. The Coalinga Mayor Ron Ramsey, who said it's too much, too fast. He told the room, on top of that, he said it isn't fair. Okay, go to the state capitol, he was quoted saying, and they got green grass, don't they? They can do it, but why can't we? Okay, that's a good question to ask, right? Coalinga, named after its history as a coal mining town, the article says, is a small Republican outpost in liberal California. The city had already defied state leadership in 2020, passing a resolution that declared all businesses essential to avoid mandatory pandemic closures. Okay, when it was time for the state to distribute our pandemic relief funds to municipalities, Coalinga didn't get any. Did y'all hear what I said? I wonder why that's the case, y'all. Okay, the water shortage felt to some like another kind of retaliation. Okay, here's a quote by owner of the Coalinga's Lone Movie Theater and executive director of its Chamber of Commerce. He said, how do you not give farmers, haven't we talked about farmers on the channel, y'all? He said, how do you not give farmers water when they feed everybody unless you're trying to put them out of business? Okay, haven't we talked about right here on the channel whether this was something that was intentional or not? We talked about this, right? Okay, he also went on to say, it feels like we're being singled out. Small towns, okay, he said, it's like they're trying to force them out to where you've got to move into the bigger cities. Okay. Coalinga's brackish groundwater, the article says, has never been a reliable option. Before a canal was completed in the early 1970s that connected Coalinga to a major aqueduct, the city relied on water delivered by train. Did you all know that trains were used to transport water? After a 1983 earthquake that destroyed some 300 homes in town and spread concerns about water contamination, residents resorted to donations. Anheuser-Busch sent drinking water to Coalinga in beer cans and bottles. Okay. But the drought, the article says, has made residents question their very survival of their city. Okay. We've never been this bad where they said we're going to run out of water. Okay. The article also continues saying a future with far less access to water, the most severe drought in the American West since the ninth century. Think about how long that is ago, the ninth century, y'all. The most severe drought in the American West since the ninth century is now in its 23rd year. All across the region, communities are confronting shortages worse than they have ever known, the article says. The biggest reservoirs have fallen to record lows. Whole neighborhoods, the article says, have lost their water supply as wells. Uh-oh, I lost my place, y'all. As wells. Hold on, let me go back. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Okay, whole neighborhoods, the article says, have lost their water supply as wells have gone dry. States along the dwindling Colorado River are negotiating water cuts. Okay, we've talked about all of this. If you look at my past videos, right here on the water shortages playlist, I've talked about these things. Okay, states along the dwindling Colorado River are negotiating water cuts that could bring dramatic disruptions to some of the country's most important agricultural belts. The hotter and drier climate, the article says, has forced California and other states to reckon with a future in which they will have access to far less water, even as populations continue to grow. Okay. All right. And the article is pretty lengthy, but listen, y'all. Do you think that is water being politicized? Um, the people are saying, hey, even though we're Republican, I guess it's a predominantly Republican city in a state that is far more liberal. Do you think that in any type of way this could be possible retaliation for the city or people, city officials, government officials, residents not going along with the overall agenda of the state of California? Do you think this is in fact intentional? What do you think is happening in the city of Coalinga? Okay, I would like to know your thoughts in the comments. Please let me know if you're I do have supporters in California, so I want to say I pray that you all are able to get everything that you need, including water. If you don't live in California, please let's look at this and say, you know what? Let me make sure that in my household, in your household, that you have, the appropriate amount of water that you feel like you will be sufficient for you and your family. Okay, I'm gonna always say this: make sure that you have water in your emergency food supply. Okay, so again, if you would like to research this article, you can head over to the Washington Post. The title of the article is right here on the screen. A California city's water supply is expected to run out in 2 months. One thing that I will say, y'all, even if you're not in California, I'm on the East Coast, so of course I don't live in California. But if the water supply is dwindling there, okay, quite naturally that's going to affect us because they're going to have to take from other sources, other areas or other sources of water supply. So what that may mean for you and I is we may see there may come a time where we have limits on water. Okay, I have certainly gone live to different stores and I've shown you all that in the past. Or worst case scenario, there may be a cutoff or no access at all. Okay, we hope it doesn't get to that point. That's why I'm encouraging you. Of course, I can't tell you what to do, but that's why I'm encouraging you. And I'm following my own advice. Make sure you have enough water in your emergency water supply or for everyday use. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please make sure again that you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Stay connected and informed. I do upload new content every week. Also, you all know I talk about the importance of having your emergency food supply survival needs. So please check out my site, preparewithandrea.com. You can place an order, get the things that you need. Also, I am on Instagram. So if you would like to follow me on Instagram, the account for the channel is at Andrea Speaks TV. And I just want to say thank you to you all so much. Take care, be blessed. Stay tuned. Check the channel daily. I'll be coming back with more news and commentary you can use. Y'all take care. See you soon.